mean, he's told me that, like, some of the biggest unlocks in my life and my career have come from Jens. And I will never, ever forget, Stephen, like one of my first board meetings, one of my first companies, it was called ITB. And I would get so nervous ahead of a board meeting. And he'd be like, why are you so nervous? And I'd be like, I don't know, because I'm a good chatter, I'm a good presenter, I can sell anything. But, I would get to these board meetings and I would just fall apart. And he said to me, just wrong timing, by the way, if you're going to give, your wife a little bit of feedback. Literally just before we went in, he said, you know what, I know why you are suffering here, Emma. You have an employee mentality. And I was 26 or 27 years old. I couldn't think about anything else in the whole meeting because I was like, he's completely right. I have an employee mentality. Well, why? Because I'd only ever been an employee up until that point, but I was looking, instead of, being there as the CEO to guide the board into a decision, I was looking for everybody else to tell me what to do. And so I was seeking their approval instead of going in and saying, here's the direction, this is what we're doing, everybody come with me. And these are the reasons.
And I say this, Emma, because I have kids coming up to me all the time saying, Steve, I need a mentor. And they sometimes say, can you be my mentor? And I'm thinking, fucking hell, I've done 17,000 hours of podcasting and you haven't learned a fucking thing. I was like, that was the mentorship.
That was the mentorship. And I was like, no, not a nightmare at all. Whatever she says when she's on her sales calls, I would write down and I would use them later on my sales calls. Now, was she my mentor? No, she was my boss. But I used her as such because I would learn from her. I'd take, I even copied her outfits, I would do the whole thing. And so for me, she was really formative. But I don't think that you should walk around looking for a mentor. I think you have to walk around asking questions, because anyone who's going to be a good mentor probably doesn't have time to mentor you, first. Secondly, depending who you are and what your exposure is, you're not going to have the right people around you to get mentored.
Because people see Emma today and they see these skills and this knowledge and all this stuff and these relationships and these businesses and this success. But what is because you said I'm dyslexic and I think you left school, you dropped out of school at 15.
Yeah.
And then you went to college for a while and you lasted 6 months there.
Dropped out there too. I'm a serial dropout.
So it's not something you learned necessarily in school. So I'm wondering what the characteristic is that was the wind in one's sails that brought you here. And what if I removed that thing, you definitely wouldn't be here. And you could only give me one thing.
I mean, listen, we didn't call it that then, but it would come down to grit.
Grit.
Right? I think that is what we would say now.